The headlines of this hour on VTV News. Prime Minister requests removing bottlenecks in monetary policy management. And later on, Vietnam remains high human development country according to UNDP. In our world news, Russian people to vote in presidential election.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is currently 8 a.m. local time and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Dylan Lei with the latest updates. Now, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh chaired the meeting to implement monetary policy management tasks in 2024 on Thursday. He stressed that the focus of the monetary policy management will be on 5 increases, 5 reductions, and 5 accelerations to remove difficulties for production and business, promote growth, and ensure macroeconomic stability.
Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh spoke highly the state bank's effective monetary policy management and businesses' efforts to restructure their operations. He pointed out some limitations such as low credit growth in the first 2 months of this year. Many businesses said that access to credit is difficult while lending interest rates are high. Bad debt tends to increase and pose risks. Therefore, the Prime Minister emphasized monetary policy management should focus on 5 increases, 5 reductions, and 5 accelerations.
5 increases include improving credit access and absorption capacity, hastening efforts to remove legal bottlenecks and improve credit quality, enhancing coordination between banks and enterprises, increasing transparency in rates, and increasing supervision to prevent risks and corruption. 5 reductions include lowering lending rates, lowering transaction and operation costs, simplifying administrative procedures, reducing cases of intentional obstruction, and reducing disruptions. 5 accelerations include breakthroughs in digitalization, service quality, human resource quality, banking infrastructure, and promoting credit flow into production and business to create jobs and promote economic growth.
The Prime Minister requested the State Bank to closely update both global and domestic economic situation to have effective monetary policy. The Prime Minister requested credit institutions to strengthen social responsibility and business ethics in supporting people and businesses, classify real estate projects to promptly have credit solutions for eligible businesses and projects. The Prime Minister assigned many specific tasks to each relevant ministry and branch, including developing the stock market to become an effective long-term capital mobilization channel, and having solutions to prevent and handle cross-ownership and manipulation at credit institutions.
National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ chaired the opening ceremony of the National Assembly Standing Committee's 31st session in Hanoi on Thursday. During the 3.5-day session, the National Assembly Standing Committee will discuss 7 draft laws before submitting them to the legislature's 7th plenary session for consideration and approval.
The 7 draft laws include the draft amended capital law, the draft law amending and supplementing a number of articles of the law on asset auctions, the draft amended law on social insurance, the draft law on road traffic, the draft law on road traffic order and safety, the draft law on defense and security industries and industry mobilization, and the draft revised law on organization of people's courts. Discussing the draft revised capital law, the National Assembly Standing Committee assessed that the draft law has many new points and closely follows the political and legal basis of the Politburo's resolutions, the guidance of Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong. It suggested contents that need to be researched and considered.
It's easy for the party committees and the people's councils to decide on spending mechanisms. But it seems difficult to make decisions on the allocation, mobilization, management, and use of resources. If this issue is not addressed, urban problems can't be resolved. This issue needs to be regulated in the law. Policies to solve traffic congestion and air pollution has not received much attention or not been mentioned in detail.
Regarding underground space, deputies suggested that it is necessary to research and evaluate its impact and experience of some countries to regulate appropriately with both theoretical and practical basis for determining the area and expanding public transport. Regarding the draft law amending and supplementing a number of articles of the law on asset auctions, the Standing Committee proposed the need to continue reviewing to fully institutionalize the party and state's policies on asset auction, contributing to promoting administrative reform, judicial reform, preventing and combating corruption and negativity.
In addition to building, managing and guiding the use of the National Auction Portal and national assets, information storage and security should be added to responsibilities of the Ministry of Justice. Fee-based online public services related to asset auctions under the authority of the Ministry of Justice should also added to increase budget revenue and contribute to the development of e-government and public services in general.
On the same day, the National Assembly Standing Committee gave opinions on the draft revised law on organization of people's courts.
On Thursday, receiving Lao Ambassador to Vietnam Kham Phao Eun Tha Vanh, Politburo member, permanent member of the Communist Party of Vietnam CPV Central Committee's Secretariat, and chairwoman of the CPV Central Committee's Organization Commission Trương Thị Mai expressed her belief that the ambassador will successfully complete her duties, making an important contribution to fostering the relationship between Vietnam and Laos. The CPV official also added that the Vietnamese side will put more effort in enhancing the great friendship, special solidarity, and cooperation between the two countries. For her part, the Lao ambassador thanked the country and people of Vietnam for the great, effective, and timely support for Laos up to now. She also affirmed that she would do her best to further consolidate and strengthen the relationship between Laos and Vietnam. On Thursday afternoon, Secretary of the Hanoi Party Committee Dinh Tiến Dũng chaired a seminar to review the 40 years of developing a socialist-oriented market economy. At the seminar, participants agreed that developing a socialist-oriented market economy is a theoretical and creative breakthrough of the Communist Party of Vietnam, bringing about major changes for the country. Many participants also stressed that the upcoming 14th Party Congress will be a milestone in developing Vietnam into an upper-middle income country with a modern industrial base by 2030. The exchange rate between Vietnam dong and US dollar was announced on Thursday by the State Bank at 23,967 Vietnam dong per US dollars, which is down 29 Vietnam dong compared to last weekend. Commercial bank exchange rates have also cooled down. The exchange rate decrease is due to the continued appreciation of the US dollar and the sudden demand for imports. Businesses remain flexible in response to exchange rate fluctuations.
This enterprise has signed a contract to import about $30 million of fertilizer and raw materials. With exchange rate fluctuations from the beginning of the year until now, import costs have increased. Businesses have to increase domestic sources of goods to replace imports. For goods that are forced to be imported, they have to proactively buy exchange rate insurance.
For products that cannot be produced domestically, we buy them on a forward basis. We guarantee that if we do this, the exchange rate will not increase anymore.
In just over the first 2 months of the year, many banks have recorded an increase in forward contracts of up to 80 to 90%.
Enterprises can both fix import costs and get a better exchange rate than the current price. If importing businesses have export activities, we also provide a solution called currency pair swap contracts, helping businesses both fix exchange rates and reduce USD loan interest rates, which are lower than normal loan interest rates.
Banks are currently selling USD forward to export businesses at a price lower than the spot price, because the interest rate difference. It is beneficial for import businesses to buy forward. Exchange rate increases are temporary. but businesses proactively responding to these fluctuations will help minimize the impact and optimize costs.
There is evident potential for the substantial growth for Vietnamese fruits and vegetables in China. In 2023, China spent $24.4 billion on importing these goods. However, experts stress the importance of continuous efforts and strategies for maintaining growth in Vietnam's market presence in China.
As an experienced entrepreneur in the Vietnamese agricultural industry, this woman recommends that businesses upgrade their technology for fruit and vegetable production. This would decrease waste and enhance the value of the products in the Chinese market.
Investing in facilities for food processing and packaging to ensure safety before export at high interest rates would take a long time for investors to recoup their capital and make a profit. Thus, supportive policies are necessary to assist capable investors in this field.
Creating a strong brand is important for increasing the value of our products. Also, focusing on deep processing will help our agricultural products grow in both quantity and value over time.
Experts assert that it's crucial to develop and enhance the management of standardized area codes for exports to China to ensure the quality and brand reputation of Vietnamese fruits and vegetables. They also believe that improving the logistics system will be necessary in the future.
We suggest that the government invest in smart border crossings and improve railway and road transportation. This will make it easier and cheaper for farmers to export agricultural products to China, resulting in higher profits for them.
Experts recommend that Vietnamese farmers and businesses concentrate on improving product quality and adhering to quality regulations and traceability standards to exploit export opportunities. Besides China, they also suggest targeting markets such as the United States, Japan, and the EU for exports in the future.
Coming up next on VTV News. Vietnam remains high human development country according to UNDP's report. And later on, farmers in the Mekong Delta adapt to drought and saltwater intrusion. Welcome back to VTV News Live. A ceremony took place at the GMA Memorial Site in the central province of Hanoi on March 14th to commemorate the 64 officers and soldiers of the Vietnam's People's Navy who fell down defending GMA Reef in Vietnam's Trường Sa archipelago and mark this 36th anniversary of their battle. The provincial authorities and Labor Federation, representatives from military units stationed in Naval Zone 4, veterans and families of the martyrs paid tribute to and laid wreaths in memory of the soldiers. The delegates affirmed that the generations today always remember and value the contributions by the martyrs and is determined to safeguard the country's sovereignty over its sea and islands. Vietnam has remained a high human development country, according to the recent report on human development released by the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. Particularly, the country jumped 8 places from the previous ranking. More to follow.
The 2023 to 2024 Human Development Report, HDR, titled Breaking the Gridlock, Reimagining Cooperation in a Polarized World, shows that Vietnam's Human Development Index, HDI, value for 2022 is 0.726, positioning it at 107 out of the 193 countries and territories. In the 1990s, when UNDP introduced the HDI, Vietnam was at the relatively lower end of the ranking, but now it is in the middle of the ranking, having made consistent progress over the past 30 years.
Vietnam's ranking to increase primarily because during the pandemic, Vietnam still managed to record a positive rate of economic growth and had a very, very good 2022. And that will lift the rankings. Human development has always been very much a focus of Vietnam's development policy from the earliest days. And I think we've seen very sizable gains over the past decade or so, particularly in secondary school enrollments, which are very important for human development. In terms of access to education, so enrollments, secondary, tertiary education are virtually equal for girls and boys, men and women. When we begin to see more women leaders in business and more women leaders in government.
The Human Development Index measures the level of socioeconomic development of various countries. It has been developed and compiled by the United Nations since 1990.
Drought and saline intrusion are no longer news stories in the Mekong Delta. Besides irrigation projects, in recent times, farmers in many localities have developed solutions and models to adapt to nature. More in the following.
Gia Vinh province is one of the localities frequently affected by drought and saltwater intrusion. When traditional crops and livestock are no longer effective, local people switch to raising goats.
Raising goats is better than raising cows. If I have a little land, I will keep a cage. Poor people with little land can still raise goats.
In the coastal area of Bac Lieu province, mixed production models such as rice, shrimp, rice crab, mullet fish are also solutions to help farmers cope well with drought and saltwater intrusion in the dry season.
Shrimp, rice rotation is the most effective model. There are also many other models that are also very effective in drought and salty conditions such as growing celery, pennywort, corn, or raising goby fish.
In Bến Tre province, switching from rice cultivation to coconut cultivation is also a highly effective model. After a period of accelerated conversion, the whole province has developed more than 72,000 hectares of coconuts, producing nearly 800 million coconuts per year.
If you grow rice and suffer from saltwater intrusion, all the plants will die. Now we grow coconut, it is safer and also higher priced than rice.
It is key for farmers to actively adapt to drought and saltwater intrusion to be secure in harsh climate change conditions.
On Thursday in Hanoi, 1.2 million youth union members participated in an online forum to discuss the active role of youth in the revolutionary path of the youth in Vietnam. At the forum, the Central Committee Secretariat of the Ho Chi Minh Communist Youth Union received more than 12,000 initiatives from union members, 4 times more than last year. The members also proposed many ideas and solutions with the desire to solve problems of the youth union's operation in a practical and constructive way, building a stronger union organization, creating a bond between the union and the young generation, both in the country and abroad. As part of the opening activities for National Tourism Year 2024, Điện Biên Province presented the Legend of UVA show, providing audiences with an enthralling and immersive experience. The show took place at the Uva Village Cultural House. The program consisted of 3 chapters. Chapter 1 focused on the legends of the Thai people and the Uva, the legend of the gourd, and the ancient imprints of the Thai people. The 2 told the legend of Han Bio, and Chapter 3 covered the rituals and the culture of the Thai people, emphasizing the connection between the present and the past. The event also aims to offer a visitor new, unique, and compelling experiences, and is expected to become a distinct tourism product of the province. The forest worship ceremony is a key spiritual practice for the Hmong ethnic group in Simacai District, Lao Cai Province. This ceremony is recognized as one of Vietnam's national intangible cultural heritages. Besides praying for abundant harvests and prosperity, the ceremony also promotes love for nature and environmental awareness within the community.
In line with tradition, locals in Sin Chang commune convene in sacred forest, their place of worship. The primary rituals take place under one of the forest's oldest trees. During this multi-day ceremony, locals strictly adhere to a set of customary laws to respect the forest's integrity, such as prohibiting tree cutting, leaf picking, harvesting, and soil digging.
Today is a blessed day, so we gather for the forest worship ceremony. We pray to the forest god for good health, safe travels, and bumper crops.
The practice also strives to foster a love for nature and environmental protection awareness within the community, eliminating illegal poaching and deforestation from local customs.
The ceremony provides a chance to communicate our local rules to the people. We, at the authority, greatly value the ceremony's role in promoting forest protection.
The ceremony of worshipping the forest god is not only a tribute to abundant nature, but also an important annual event where people discuss rules to protect forbidden, sacred, watershed, and primary forests.
Coming up next in our world news. Russian people to vote in presidential election. And later on, EU Parliament greenlights landmark artificial intelligence regulations. Now, starting from March 15th, millions of Russian voters will go to the polls to elect a new president who will lead Russia for the next 6 years. That is the first time in history that the Russian presidential election took place not just in one, but many days. According to the Russian Central Election Commission, by early 2024, the number of voters in Russian Federation will reach more than 112 million people. In addition, there are nearly 1.9 million voters abroad. All Russian Center for Public Opinion surveys estimates that the voter turnout rate in this year's presidential election will be about 71%, higher than 6 years ago. Incumbent President Putin has a great advantage ahead of the important election, with more than 80% of votes in early March. The Korean Central News Agency KCNA announced that North Korea has just unveiled a new battle tank. The above announcement was made in the context that the U.S. and South Korea are conducting an annual joint drill called Freedom Shield. According to KCNA, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un himself drove a new tank during training exercises between tank units. The exercise was aimed at inspecting actual combat capabilities of tank crews and making them familiar with combat action on different tactical missions. Kim expressed great satisfaction over the striking power and maneuverability of the new type of battle tank, saying the army is equipped with the most powerful tanks in the world. The European Union's Parliament on Wednesday approved the world's first major set of regulatory ground rules to govern the mediatized artificial intelligence at the forefront of tech investment. The European Parliament also proposed the establishment of a European Artificial Intelligence Agency tasked with supporting the application of the law and coordinating investigations of violations. Any innovation in this field must not violate current laws protecting human dignity and creative copyright. Products made by robots must be clearly labeled to avoid misunderstandings. Violating businesses can be fined up to 7.5 million euros or up to 7% of global sales, depending on the severity of the violation and the size of the business. Scientists from South Korea's Yonsei University have invented what they believe to be a sustainable, high-protein food in the form of beef rice, made by growing cow cells in grains of rice. They hope that it will be a major step towards achieving a sustainable, affordable, and environmentally friendly source of protein that could potentially replace farming cattle for meat. More in the following story.
Professor Jean Ki-hong of Yonsei University in Seoul, who led the work published in the journal Matter this month, said the beef rice is the first of its kind using grain particles as the base for cultivating animal muscle and fat cells. Rice grains treated with enzymes to create an optimal environment for cell growth are infused with bovine cells that are cultivated to achieve the final hybrid product that maintains the rice grain shape but show a pinkish color.
Regarding the rice we've produced, it contains roughly 8% more protein and 7% more fat compared to regular rice. Moreover, within this protein content, approximately 18% has been identified as animal-derived protein. Essentially, this means that our rice offers a higher intake of essential amino acids and is richer in animal-based protein compared to conventional rice.
Priced at approximately $2 per kilogram and with a far smaller carbon footprint, cultured beef rice is a compelling option that can potentially compete with traditional beef products. Hume Dong-kyu, manager of Monbuli, who recently sampled the rice beef at a Korean barbecue restaurant in Seoul, said the idea is clearly innovative.
Developing beef rice seems like quite an innovative idea, but honestly, I don't think it can replicate the juiciness or texture of real beef.
I'm all about, when I just read the article, that it produces so much less CO2 emissions. Now it does not compare to beef yet, but as I see the research is early stages. So I would say it's a great way forward.
The scientists also believe the product could be inexpensively commercialized and tout the short time frame required to boost nutrition through culturing.
And now let's have a brief look at the weather forecast. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website or YouTube channel or download mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.